Thank you very, very much, Jaime, for having me as well in Oaxaca, bringing me here. I hope you can hear me all okay. I'm sorry for my Spanish, non-existent. Uh, I wish you can at least understand me more than 50% because yeah, this kind of trip is actually kind of we wanted to do something like this during the pandemic, visiting not only Mexico City, Oaxaca, but also understanding ecosystems. That's how we understand it, like actors, how they play in the bigger ecosystem. And then, but of course, that plan was cancelled by COVID. So I'm super happy, although it's better late than never. I'm here today, and I'm going to be around as well in here and in Mexico City up until the 11th of February. So I would use this opportunity to introduce myself to what's happening in the ecosystem, in the artistic ecosystem, let's say, in Oaxaca and Mexico City. I wouldn't say the whole Mexico because it's impossible, but at least what I can see, imagine, experience, and then bring it back again to where I come from, Jakarta. I just arrived in Mexico City 2 nights ago, so I'm sorry as well for the jet lag. That explains these 2 big coffees. I just have to pull through this. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is my first time as well competing with a lot of birds, but I hope it's okay. This is also, there's a lot of first times here. I don't think I'm going to touch upon what we've done last year too much, but it's much more about like a journey. I'm going to share it through, this is a coincidence I would say, but like through series of publications that you can see it first here. It's called like one of us from Ruang Rupa had this initiative called Fixer in 2010 because we are a collective. In 2010 we thought it would be nice to look into collectivities in Indonesia and then look into those practices in different places in Indonesia, and then it resulted in a survey. It resulted in a catalog as well, which is like this is a logo of and the cover of a catalog as well, looking into or like listing the collectives that was existing in Indonesia at that moment. And then something called Documenta happened in 2018, the end of 2018 for us. We understood doing something in Europe as something that we had to be careful about, because our homework always has been back home in Jakarta, and then this type of invitations mostly than not in our language extract us from that context, that locality, and then force us to do other institutions' agenda or other people's agenda. And we're trying, learning from our past experiences, we're trying not to repeat that. That's why we came up, instead of proposing something new and exclusive for an edition of a big exhibition like Documenta in Germany, Kassel to be exact, we decided to invite them back to be part of our journey. And then what we explained was like our journey up until that point. That's why I'm sorry if any one of you has seen me before or will see me again talk. This image will come up again because it's very useful to understand the journey as a river, and then it can meander, it can go into different bifurcates different streams, etc., etc. And then how we understand it is like we had something before Documenta happened. We're going to use Documenta while it was happening, because it's in the past right now. And then where we are right now is in the post part. Like after Documenta, this journey should continue. One of the ways we are doing it is actually coming back to this picture, is the one on the right hand side. That Fixer became resuscitated and became something in 2021. We utilized this opportunity to actually revisit again about collectivity, especially in Indonesian context, understanding better. So it's not only a survey, and then that exhibition in 2010 was kind of like a showcase of what people were doing in their own spaces, you know. And then, as you might understood, some of you might be part of a collective or a group, like showing group activities can become easily boring. Just like pictures of people gathering up together in circles, no? Like there's no, so what, no? So we push it further. It ended up into several publications. One of them is this one, English and Indonesian. And then as you can see, like this is in 2010. I'm sorry if it's not too big, but you can see the list of the collectives. It's only like around 15 to 20, mainly in Java, because at that moment we could only also like concentrate ourselves in not too far. It couldn't reach out to the east part of Indonesia. And then most of the list here are actually ceased to exist. Some of them just like every collectives, no? Some one or two of them became big, and then the collective just ceased to exist. There's no use to become a collective anymore, or sometimes they just don't have any money anymore. They ran out of energy, and there's no sparks anymore as well. This is kind of like what we want to sustain, or what we want to tell, something like Documenta, that they could sustain this type of fragile practices in different places in the world. At least there's an attempt to that. Not without problems, of course, but the attempt was, at least for us, that's the only way we could do something like Documenta. This is 2021 survey. Then you can see the numbers. I hope, yeah, it's not that clear, but in West Java, this is West Java. Sorry, this is West. This part is West Java, one of the most, the most populated part of the islands in the world. You can see the number of collectives in 2021, like there's 24 of them, compared to in Papua over there, it's like only 2. So like at least we could reach out using this opportunity again. Then we branch out our relationships, our knowledge, because what we wanted to do is actually to learn from them. Like a lot of these practices, as fragile, as shaky as they are, it's kind of like the energy that they had and how they could exist, bringing the flag of art actually as well. This is art collectives only that we're trying to map. That the fact that they still exist and they're still existing is something that we think is very valuable, especially right now from our point of view, outside the main island of Java, the one below, the long one, because that's the main. If any one of you know a bit of Indonesia, that's the main center of of everything, the governance of Indonesia, a problem in itself, a Javanization of Indonesia. And then out of all this number, 12 of us actually tried to make something called Lumbung Indonesia. So gang up together, figuring out what we can do together in order for what I said before, like how to sustain each other's practices, because everyone is facing challenges, different challenges most of the time, but also there are similarities. And then how, like Documenta 15 as well, even outside of not only Indonesia, actually solidarities between struggles like that are actually the main reason why we're doing what we're doing. And then I'll stop there. I'll stop there in that one. So yeah, I have all the PDFs of the publication. If anyone wants, it's also there in the internet. So ask me for the link, and then I'll be happily give it to you. Like this is the 2010 one. This is the 2021 one, and then more essays, more readings, more understanding, more attempt to understand, to research of why certain practices exist in certain localities. And then also the 12 of us managed to make this one. This one is only available in Indonesian for now, unfortunately. But yeah, it's called like Kelana Lumbung Indonesia, means like the journey of Lumbung Indonesia, and hopefully it will continue. Like this is our main homework right now, to make sure that it continues. It's not just got taken by a big exhibition like Documenta and then dissipates. But energy, again, like even myself, I have to be honest, I still recuperating from getting all my energy back after 3 years of working for a big show. And then every one of us, at least in Ruang Rupa, is having, we are all having different ways to do it, and then we have to give time as well to do that. And then maybe the last one, the one that I don't have the PDF because of the copyright issues, because it's done with like German taxpayers' money, is what Jaime said before. There's like a Spanish version of it, Basque version of it as well, because there are a lot of writers, including Mexican writers here, Lumbung stories, and then none of us have the soft copies because of the copyright issues. I only have the Indonesian ones, and then, to be honest, I'm not a fan of translation. So like reading something in Indonesian is not that, especially when it's translated from other language, is not my favorite way of doing things. But this is what I have, and then to have, I don't remember, maybe I may remember, maybe 6 to 8 languages. So there's 8 versions of this book with different design, different way of articulating, different, that's kind of like showing how to practice sharing resources as well for us, that publication can be done like that. And we're not alone in it. I think like there's an Indonesian band called Senyawa, maybe you've heard about it. They released an album during the pandemic that they just like gave it for free for different small record labels, and then they can have their own versions, remixes, versions of press, whether it's a CD, a cassette, a vinyl. The design will be different, the merchandises will be different, the gimmicks, how to sell it will be different as well, or all those kind of stuff. So it's a bit like, I have to say that, it's something that's ingrained for us. It's not that hard to understand, but to make, like, especially the modernized culture to understand what we're doing, as it has been shown, it's a bit of a challenge. Reading the Mexican uh, contribution to the Lumbung Stories book, it actually kind of uh, not only refreshing, but like it's energizing because it's proven that that kind of sensibilities are everywhere. It might not be the same, it might not be using the same metaphor, it might not be practiced the same way, it might not have the same logics, but it's coming from kind of like a similar place, and we can learn from each other that way. And lastly, I think like I just wanna because this is a resource. This is why we did what we did, because to come up with this resource, please visit these websites. It's all free to download as well. And then if anyone wants to do something with it, even you don't have to tell us. We'll be happy to know that someone is actually doing something about it. And then yeah, the map itself, for example, the text, the books can be downloaded here. Yeah, this is the map that I was talking about before with the list of the collectives. I'm sorry because of the resolution change, it shows differently right now. But you've seen the map. It's just like the lists are more extensive over here, and yeah, this is also like about Fixer and all those kind of stuff. This is the Fixer, the book I've shown before. I hope what I was thinking about is actually to have more conversational thing and learning from you. I'm new here. From what I understood as well from different people who I've met, you have a particular, in Oaxaca particularly, have a particular history and approach to commoning, collectivity, being together, and all those kind of stuff. I'll be happy to hear more about it as well in the conversation. Thank you very, very much. I hope it's not too short or too long. Is it okay with time?